Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Welcome back, my friends, to BjjBrick Quick. This is the Quick Jiu-Jitsu Podcast. Today I'm your host, Byron, and I'm talking about tapping out your coach. This might be something that you do all the time. I don't know. It's hard to speak to an audience. Know that many of them are in their first weeks of grappling. Many of them are coaches and school owners and everyone in between. Kind of thinking on this episode more about kind of that mid-range grappler. Maybe purple belt. Maybe a really solid blue belt. Anyway, anybody can tap out your coach. It's very hard to do. Your coach is likely a very accomplished jiu-jitsu player compared to you, especially if you're on the newer end. They are very crafty, and they most likely not only know what you're doing, they might have helped teach you what you're doing. Hopefully, your coach is rolling with you and not fighting with you on the mats. If you look at your coach and you see a person standing there that you've never gotten their back, you've never been on mount, you've never got close to passing their guard, I've got news for you. Your coach is fighting you. Which happens. It's very difficult to tap that kind of a coach. Obviously you have to get to a dominant position most likely to tap them, or at least a neutral position. But you'll be far more likely to tap your coach if they roll with you. If they give you a guard pass or two every time you roll. If they give you an opportunity and then they escape every time they roll. These people you'll catch sometimes. Maybe not very often, and maybe you haven't done it yet. But your coach is comfortable in going into a dangerous situation with you. And eventually, they'll pay the price. And the price, I think, is very low. I'm always proud of my teammates that haven't been training as long as I have, who don't have the belt rank that I have, when they catch me. It's a happy moment. Now, granted, I'm not like jumping up and down and singing songs and deepity bop bop, but it's a sign of your hard work, and I want to recognize that, and I feel really good about their progress if they're able to tap somebody that is pretty good at jiu-jitsu or significantly better than them. That's the thing about jiu-jitsu. You could be a blue belt, and you could have a brown belt technique, a black belt technique. You get it lined up just right, you got a good chance of getting anybody. If you tap your coach, are they upset with you? Do they call BS? Do they explain to you that you would have never got that if they wouldn't have given you the mount? Do they continue over the course of the next dozen rolls not give you an inch to play with? That sounded bad. Not give you any slack or any space to work, and they go back to that fighting mode where they take it, this is falling part of me. They roll really difficult. I don't want to say roll really hard on you and destroy your game. That's somebody who doesn't want to get tapped out twice. If you get a bow and arrow choke on your coach and you're on their back again next week, I think you have a good relationship with that coach. They want you to do well, and hopefully your coach is a little more aware of how dangerous you are back there, and they're going to defend it a little bit harder. But that's okay. I let a lot of the lower belts get into a lot of dangerous positions. When they lock up a submission, I fight pretty hard. I fight pretty hard to get out of that. Usually can escape. But not always. Not always. There's a lot of times to get caught. Act like it's also annoying to have somebody, celebrate something. Don't be rude to your coach. Thank them for the role. And maybe even say, hey, I got lucky on that one. I'd been working on that. I didn't know if it was going to work that well. And let them save face if they're a little bit embarrassed. Hopefully, your coach is not embarrassed by such a thing. There's not a large audience there to make them feel like they're not a good coach anymore. Here's a secret. Your ability to coach, your ability to teach, your ability to instruct doesn't necessarily line up with your ability to roll. There's a decent chance the person who's best at rolling in a gym is not the coach. Guys, I want to hear from you. And I don't really want to hear that you are or are not tapping your coach with you tagging them in the comments. But what do you think when you tap an upper belt, or if you try, or how they react, or how you react if you get caught by a lower belt? It's not that big a deal. It's a sign of a healthy team that's working together to make everyone get better. If you have a topic you want me to cover, BjjBrick@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a comment about the show, that's a good place as well. Till next time, keep working on your coach and stay sweaty, my friends.